federal. Thanks to Jimmy Carter, we can do that. But yeah, I mean, there's actual legal meaderies that are in process down there.
That's
So
wonderful.
you will no
That's
longer
great.
be in a mead wasteland. It'll have an oasis as somewhere.
Oh, I will seek it out. I will seek it out.
Yeah, you'll be my guy on the ground.
So,
Go
Luke,
give
I'm
us a
guessing
report.
since you're drinking wine.
Yeah, what are you drinking, Luke? Wine? Or did you get some mead?
Yeah, wine. Yeah.
Dude,
When are you going to start making your own mead?
Yeah.
You know, I should. Most of my neighbors think that my shop is inside of it is some sort of, fermenting, heavenly, something going on there. Everyone thinks I'm running a bootleg. Well, I'm not, so I put away my commercial production hat a while ago, and honestly, I think smaller production, like home production, is actually harder and more difficult than large scale. So it's almost like I'm not interested until someone gives me a bunch of money to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, and you're repping for Scott Labs over like what, a 10, 12, 15 state area? I saw a long list of states there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's in the double digits. It may be in the 30 range.
Good Lord.
It kind of changes.
Yeah, so
from time
are
to
you
time,
ever
but,
even
yeah.
home, or do you just throw Mr. Wilson in the truck and go driving around?
Pretty much the latter. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I
Cool,
get it.
Good life.
Puppies of the Apocalypse travel with me much of the time as well, so I get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He had a really good day today, and he crashed out. So you won't hear much from him.
Yeah, well, the
Van
puppies
Helsing stays home and gets bunny sat.
and gets bunny sat. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
He doesn't travel so.
If I took the POTPs with me to Colorado, I'm pretty sure I'd get in trouble. Can you see them running roughshod all over the hotel? That'd be terrifying.
Oh, that's great. So I gave you a few points of things that I was interested to talk about. Did you guys have other things or questions? Or, I mean...
Yes. Yes to both.
Yeah. Good. All
right. So first, before we get into all the questions and stuff, tell the listeners out there a little bit about how you came to get into this, and just to give them a who's what kind of thing, and then we'll start talking yeast.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, that sounds great. So I grew up in the Central Valley of California. Please don't hold that against me. And I grew up in a town called Modesto, which there's a small winery, a little boutique family-owned winery called Gallo that is based in Modesto.
Never heard of them.
No, yeah, I know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who they are, but we're trying to bring them to light, in the world, because they're a pretty good winery. Anyway, so the way it worked in California is Modesto was probably 250 to 300,000 people, and there were 5 high schools that you could attend, and the district that I was in was a high school that I probably might have gotten beat up, kind of a skinny dude, and so kind of a little bit ghetto. So I wanted to go to a different school. In order to do that, you had to find a program or a classroom, a set of classes that the district you were in did not offer. And so what this was plant and animal science and the FFA. So I said I wanted to go attend the FFA and get in plant and animal science, so that way I could go to this other high school. So I did that.
Nice.
And as part of the FFA, there's all sorts of judging teams that you can get on, right? Like, so, you can do the whole Napoleon Dynamite, and you can do the milk testing, and say that it tastes like a cow got into a patch of onions. You can do that. I ended up getting into.
I was in 4-H. We didn't have that.
You did? Okay. Well, it's out there. So I got into grapevine judging.
Oh.
So as part of that, you go up. Basically, how it works is you learn the physiology of grapevines and what makes a good grapevine versus a bad grapevine. And the judging competition is held once a year at Fresno State. And you go down there, there's the judge, a viticultural expert that's sitting in some vineyard row, and he's got 4 vines tagged, and you go up and you inspect them, you make your notes, and then what you do is you rank them, and you rank them 1 to 4, and then you give him reasons on why you have chosen this, right? So I have 0 experience in agriculture at this point, 0. Sophomore year, I did sophomore, junior, and senior year. Sophomore year, I think we did pretty good. We placed like third place as a team. Second year, this was my junior year, I think we took first place as a team, and then senior year, second place as a team, and I won the state competition as an individual. And so I was dead set on going into the military at this point, but my parents were not having it. So I was like, well, I guess I'll go to college, right? Like, whatever. And I did pretty well in high school. So I applied to Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, which is right there on the coast, and Fresno State. Fresno State had a very well-developed viticulture program that spans many decades. Cal Poly had a minor in viticulture.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into both, and this was, to date myself, this is a time when I would it was online at this point, the application process. And you'd fill out a sheet, 1 page, and you'd hit enter, and then you'd come back like 30 minutes later, and the next page would have loaded, right? So,
right, yeah.
That's, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
so
I remember those days, yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah. So I got into both, and, it was either Fresno or San Luis Obispo. Well, it wasn't a very hard decision. So I ended up going to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I did pomology, which is the study of deciduous fruit crops. So this is almonds and peaches and citrus and kiwis and grapes and on. And I specialized in grapevines and viticulture. Well, about my fourth or fourth year, they launched their wine and viticulture program as a major.
Okay.
And Dr. Bruce Zocklin, formerly of Virginia Tech, he's retired now, who literally wrote the book for winemaking. Literally wrote the book, Production Wine Analysis. I don't know if you guys have it or
I have seen the book, yes. I didn't know he was from VT.
Bible.
That's cool. That's my daughter's alma mater.
Yeah. He was there for many years and really helped propel that industry in Virginia. So he came out on a sabbatical and helped launch the program, taught advanced enology and wine sensory and analysis. And I was his TA. This would have been 2005. I was his TA for both those classes, and I took those 2 classes. So needless to say, I got an A in both of those classes.
Nice.
Then 2006, so, we, as winemakers, we look at everything from a vintage perspective, right? So it's not necessarily the year, it's the vintage. So 2005, I interned at a place called McManus Family Vineyards in Ripon, California, which is in the Central Valley. And at that time, they were somewhere around 30,000 tons a year. So it's a very, very large winery. And I interned there, and at that point, I realized, whoa, you mean to say that you can make money making alcohol? Like, that's what I'm going to do. So that shifted my focus into enology and farther away from viticulture. So 2006, Cal Poly launched their first student-made branded wine for Cal Poly. So it says Cal Poly on the label. And I have my name signature on the back of this bottle. I was selected by the faculty to be the winemaker along with another young lady named Catherine Allegra. who is still making wine to this day on the Central Coast. So, you see your diploma and you look at the cost of the diploma and you're like, man, that's a really expensive piece of paper. Well, I have like a few left, some very, very, very expensive wine. Very expensive wine. So got my degree, went back to McManus as their assistant winemaker for a few vintages, left there, took some time off, then moved to Arkansas to take the wine position at Post Family Vineyards. This was in 2010. They were about 70,000 cases when I started, which is that's a very large winery in the aggregate of wineries. And I was the winemaker there until 2015, began 2015. And by that time, we had doubled. So in 5.5 years, we went from 70,000 cases to about 140,000 cases, which is, exponential growth, right? That was a wild ride. And then I started with Scott Labs in 2016, so January 1. So that brings me to now, I suppose.
Cool. And you just decided to stay in Arkansas after being down there? Making wine. Arkansas is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from it being a meat desert, it's it's a nice place, Arkansas.
It definitely is. I mean, other than July and August.
Well, yeah. I don't know. It's only July and August for you? I'm living in the wrong place. Y'all got it easy. Here it starts in, March and goes till November. It's ridiculous. We've been fortunate this year. It's still not stupidly hot, and it's, middle of April, and I'm stunned. It's going to...
Oh, come on. It's even gross here in July and August.
Yeah, but, I mean, we're talking stupidly hot weather and stupidly humid. It's
humid.
God. Yeah, totally humid. I got to go to New Orleans in July to sit on a panel, and it's I love New Orleans, but New Orleans in July? God, I don't know, man. My husband's like, you going to stick around and sightsee? I'm like, it's New Orleans in July. He's like, good point.
Scuttle from air conditioner to air conditioner?
Pretty much, yeah. I will make a point to go down and have chicory coffee and beignets because New Orleans, and and I'll probably make sure that I hit a couple of good restaurants and get me some shrimp and grits while I'm down there, but that's about it. I'll probably hit the hotel, stay at the conference. I mean, it is Tales of the Cocktail after all. There'll be a lot of booze flowing, so why leave? So, But, all right, so let's talk yeast, which is probably one of our favorite subjects. And
all right.
You had given me a list of kind of more top view stuff, which is good because we'll start getting down. Some of the questions I've got are super specific. So let's start with the more general stuff, what is, where does Scott Labs coming from? On obviously guys are doing wine yeast, beer yeast, and dealing with the craft industry and all of that. But what's the current focus that Scott Labs has in terms of the craft industry, and not just beer and maybe cider? But is there any focus going to be happening in the direction of mead? And and if so, what do we have to look forward to? Because we're all kind of making do with yeast from other, that are really designed for other beverages.
We're all using everyone else's yeast. We'd like our own, please.
We'd like our own, please. Yeah, that'd be really nice.
So it's just funny you mentioned that. So to explain a little bit about Scott Labs, we've been around for about 80 years. At this point, we're primarily a distribution company. So we find very well vetted and established high quality vendors that we then distribute nationally and also South America to a certain extent, Central America and Canada.
And Canada, yay!
Yeah. Yeah, there's the Scott Labs Canada for sure. And so our portfolio is ever expanding. We have so many SKUs that we have found it important to have product specialists. Okay, so there's no reasonable way for someone like myself to be an expert on every single thing that we sell. It's just not possible, right? Yeah. So we have product specialists to support people like me that are out in the field. And so when there's a question that is above and beyond my scope of knowledge or experience, then I call in the expert. So